Rallies held across country like the one last week in Chisholm. Steelworkers want lawmakers to do something to stop foreign steel dumping. The cheap import steel is taking away contracts from U.S. companies and threatening Iron Range jobs. Well, first the media and now college students.
Governor Jesse Ventura found himself in an argument with students this afternoon on the Capitol steps. Some students challenged his commitment to higher education funding.
Excuse me, who put me through college? The government? That's right, and that was 4 years of giving my life, putting it on the line, and earning it.
We need to lower some of that tuition so that I can continue my education.
Then maybe your professors better take a pay cut. Well, no.
Ventura told a single mother seeking more child care aid so she can go to school that the government shouldn't make up for people's mistakes. A representative from the Minnesota State College Student Association says the group didn't intend to be rude to the governor. She says at the very least, students want to keep tuition increases from exceeding inflation. Our recent weather is to blame for the cancellation of the annual governor's snowmobile ride. Governor Ventura wasn't planning to attend, citing work that needed to be done in St. Paul, but organizers were prepared to carry on. They first rerouted the course because of the lack of snow in the area, but then after the last few days of unseasonably warm temps, they decided to cancel.
And here it is, February. George, who would have ever thought a snowmobile ride would be canceled because it was too warm?
Not in February, maybe November. It happens every now and again. We get a late start to the season, but this is right in the middle of it. And I'll tell you, I'm standing, it's raining. It's, you know, if you look at it, I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but it's raining. This is water. This is very odd for February, but I'll tell you, reality is right around the corner. Reality in the form of very cold air and, yes, maybe even some snow. We've been watching a storm system which has been noteworthy for its sneakiness. When I come back in a few minutes, we'll attempt to pin it down. We'll talk about where it's going to snow tomorrow and, more importantly, I think, where it's going to freeze up. Because when those temperatures go down, all this water is going to become ice. It could mean some very tricky travel on your Thursday. Complete details in just a minute. Mark and Michelle.
Those were some big drops. I think that was dripping off the roof.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, George would be really wet.
A little teeny cloud just really hailing over George.
Still to come on News 6 at 10, a special I-Team 6 report. Barbara Riles will put us in touch with a mysterious elk farm on the south shore of Lake Superior.
They were called the Lads from Liverpool, and they rocked the world. We'll take a look back at the Beatles invasion. And in sports, the Bucks signed their top player to a long-term deal. Tom will tell us how much it'll cost the Milwaukee team, so stay with us.
Keeping you in touch with today's news with Michelle Lee, Mark Mallory, meteorologist George Kessler, Tom Hansen Sports, and special reports from Barbara Riles. You're watching News 6 at 10.
In the next 60 seconds, a multi-million-dollar Powerball jackpot could be yours. Hi, everybody. Mike Pace here with America's biggest jackpot game and a $28 million estimated jackpot tonight. Now, these folks won $100,000 apiece. There are 9 ways to win when you play America's biggest jackpot game. Let's look at the numbers. Good luck. 31. First ball, 31. There's 42, number 42. There is number 10. The Powerball, of course, still to come. There's 27. 27 and number 20, the last white ball. Now, $28 million on the line. The Powerball is 26. Here they are, 31, 42, 10, 27, and 20. 26, the Powerball. If we don't give it away, of course, it gets bigger and better, and we could be seeing $34 million for our grand prize Saturday night. Good night and good luck.
North Star Ford has got a great special going on 1998 program cars. We purchased over 100 of them. I'm talking about 98 Windstars, F-150s, Explorers, Tauruses, Contours, Sables, Escorts. They're all qualifying for just 5.9% financing. You can't find 5.9% out there, but because we do such great volume, the banks have given us a break on the money. Come to North Star Ford for the biggest selection anywhere in the upper Midwest, where you will be satisfied.
Montgomery Ward store.
Going out of business sale continues.
With special Valentine's Day savings just for you.
For 4 days only, all diamond and gemstone jewelry is now 50% off.
Plus, take an extra 15% off already reduced prices.
All diamond and gemstone necklaces, bracelets, and earrings.
50% off, plus an additional 15% off.
And take 30% off Seiko, Citizen, and Pulsar watches.
Major appliances and electronics, 10% off.
20 to 40% off furniture and domestic.
20 to 50% off all apparel.
The going out of business sale continues.
Only at Montgomery Ward.
Later on an all-new Tonight Show, Julie Scardina's adorable baby animals, and some not so adorable. Plus Rosie Perez, Jay's romance novel with Freddie Prinze Jr., and sweet Valentine messages.
Please, shave your back.
Then on Conan, John Tesh, Star Trek's Jerry Ryan, and hopefully Conan tonight. And tomorrow, Jay's got Mel Gibson.
You're in touch with News 6.
A mysterious elk farm on the south shore of Lake Superior has been puzzling people living near Maple for over a year.
What those neighbors didn't know is that the farm is in the middle of a national controversy over ethics and fair play. Barbara Riles investigated, and what she found might surprise you.
Some 1,300 acres of land are surrounded by an 8-foot fence just off Highway 13 near Maple, Wisconsin. Inside the fence, you'll find about 700 head of elk. The elk are bred for size, and most will grow to over 1,200 pounds. Many of the bulls will sport trophy-size antlers with 6 points a side. Neighbors have watched the operation with interest over the last year.
They're pretty much cared for like a beef ranch would be.
Becky and Ron Sullivan live on a dairy farm adjacent to the elk ranch. They say in the summer they often walk along the edge of their property and feed the elk through the fence.
They'll come right up to the fence to see who you are or what you are, so they're not really wild.
6-year-old Riley Mundell lives across the road from the elk farm. She loves to watch the big creatures up close and imitate their haunting bugle sounds.
It's gonna be loud, so you might want to cover your ears.
Most of the neighbors we spoke with didn't know exactly what the elk were being raised for, but some had their speculations.
And that's what they're raising for. It's just to harvest them, more or less.
Some neighbors had heard that the antlers were being cut off, ground up, and shipped to Canada to be exported to Asian countries for sale as aphrodisiacs.
ITN6 confirmed that, but found that the main purpose for raising the elk was to truck them to a hunting preserve in Darby, Montana. That operation is in the center of a nationwide controversy.
The Big Velvet Hunting Preserve draws people from around the world for big money hunting expeditions. Hunters will pay up to $26,000 for the experience. But the enterprise is being challenged as cruel and non-sporting.
But they're advertised as trophy sales. But what these are is canned fantasy hunts.
The way it works at the Big Velvet Ranch is shortly after a client gets there, he can pick out the bull he wants from a promotional videotape provided by the ranch owners. The more the client pays, the bigger the bull they can kill.
They're then driven from the lodge to an enclosure where they can shoot the elk they've chosen with a rifle or a bow. They can take the head and antlers home with them, and the meat is packed in dry ice and shipped to wherever the client wants.
Like shooting a cow. You know, you raise this animal and then turn it loose and somebody shoots it.
That's not sportsmanship.
After learning that the elk, raised like domestic cattle here in Maple, were going to be trucked to Montana to be used for the fantasy hunting operation, many of the neighbors were upset.
I don't like the idea of an animal being raised in close proximity to a human and then being shot. You know, because they don't have any instinct to run away. They're not afraid, so they're more or less a sitting duck.
The man who owns the elk operation in Maple and Montana is aware of the debate, but says he doesn't intend to make any changes. In fact, he has just purchased more Montana grazing land and wants to expand his ranch. He's also looking to buy more land near Maple to increase the size of his elk herd in the Northland. In Maple, Wisconsin, Barbara Riles, News 6.
The National Hunting Establishment has taken a strong stance against this type of enterprise, but the owner of the Big Velvet Ranch is ignoring their complaints.
Now tomorrow we'll introduce you to the owner and you'll hear how he justifies his business. In other news, Wisconsin State Representative Gary Sherman has come under fire from Republicans for his vote against